Welcome back to NewsMakers. On the panel, Antony Gough, Chris Hutching and Marg Foster. Sir Geoffrey Palmer has startled the horses by suggesting that it's time for US Navy ships to return to New Zealand waters. Would such a resumption be desirable in your eyes, Mr Hutching?
Well, I don't really quite know what was going through Sir Geoffrey's head when he brought this up. I mean, did he think there was a head of steam, you know, where we all want to have these ships around? I can't see the point in it.
Really?
We've done all right for 20 years without them. What do we want them for?
Would it be closure? Would it be a coming together?
But when old Mr Key went over there, our Prime Minister, he was praised for our anti-nuclear stance. And that may be a bit different to the issue of having warships here, but I can't see the point. We're not under any threat, are we?
Would the Foster family be propelled to Lyttelton with the prospect of the USS Eisenhower rocking into town?
Absolutely. My son Xavier would be beside himself. And it would be good trade for Lyttelton as well, and in other ways too. All those, you know, what are they called, Navy SEALs?
Yeah.
Well, imagine that trade. It'd be a great boost.
What are you suggesting?
For Lyttelton people.
Is this the
be a great boost for the you know, tourism trade over there. But you know, to go there and to actually see it, something like that, I mean, you know, I would feel compelled. It's like when the cruise ships come in. You know, like I'd love to just go out there just to see how the, you know, enormity of them and the you know, the wow factor. And Xavier would love it.
Well, there you go. There's the voice of Xavier.
Yeah.
Joining Sir Geoffrey. Do you think it is time?
Yes, absolutely. If we got into trouble for some reason, say some Muslims turned up on our doorstep, decided they didn't blow us up, we would have to look to the Americans. There is no point in us cutting off our nose to spite our face. It'd be a great thing to have them back, and it also brings some good dollars for us all. We have them out at the airport. What's the problem with them at our ports?
Oh, this warmongery. You get on really well with my dad. He served in World War II, you know. But I just can't see any Muslim threat, can you?
Yes.
Indonesia?
Do you know
Australia's in the way.
Do you know some people?
No, but I had some Muslims threaten me.
Really?
In Christchurch.
In Christchurch?
Yes, not to blow my place up, but they did try to do things that shouldn't be done in New Zealand, and a certain threat of court action caused them to withdraw.
Really?
But we couldn't get a ship up the Avon to protect them.
Well, you could probably get the New Zealand Navy up the Avon, couldn't you?
Probably.
On the local front, the police and the City Council are opposing applications from 8 party bus companies for liquor licences that would allow customers on board to drink as part of the pub crawl. And then, of course, they are generally deposited in the CBD, which, according to the authorities, fuels disorder. Does it, Antony?
Certainly does. I could not open a set of premises without toilets and without food, and yet these party buses pour booze down their necks and then drop them in town already tanked to the eyeballs. Well, they should be banned from the city.
The fact that there are 8 party bus companies applying for these liquor licences would suggest it's a very lucrative business.
Oh, it is. It's huge.
Big money
But let them stay out in the suburbs and let them drop them somewhere else out of town.
Yeah.
We don't want them in town.
Birdling's flat could be a good depository, couldn't it? What do you think, Marg? Actually, Marg, hand on heart, have you been on one of these?
Look, they're quite a lot of fun, I must admit.
Right.
And, you know, you've got to, I know it's, look, we're going to take the fun out of it, the entertainment. At least they're all together, they're not drinking and driving. You've got a, you know, you've got a bus driver that's you know, taking them on locations. The country pubs really benefit from it. I know that when I was on one particular pub crawl that we stopped at the Belfast one, the Kike Canoe, and they were all beside, like the lovely men and ladies there drinking. They were like almost like in heaven that these people were coming in. But I must admit that we were quite sober.
Right.
I think our drinking, the culture, I mean, you know, when people like me are going on buses, you don't go there to get absolutely slosh. You actually go there probably for a bit of a fun and a bit of catch-up time. But I probably agree with Antony in terms of dumping them, depositing them off, you know, near, like, say, for example, if it was near Moose Steakhouse, the same thing. They just come and to use the toilet, basically.
Right.
And they're quite intoxicated, and you're not allowed to serve intoxicated members of the public anyway.
Yeah. I note that Al Lorne, who of course is quite the sheriff when it comes to liquor matters in Christchurch, he says that these party buses, the way they operate, is in complete breach of the objectives of the Sale of Liquor Act, which is to promote safe and responsible drinking.
I personally don't have a problem with them doing a party bus and dropping people around to various different pubs.
Right.
My objection is the boozing on the buses and the no toilets and no food on the buses. That breaks the liquor laws, it's quite clear. Don't have a problem with a party bus going around the different suburban pubs. I think it's a great idea.
But are they allowed to drink on the buses?
Yes.
Because I was at a wine tour last week with Richie's and you weren't allowed, there's no alcohol out on the bus.
On the bus, yeah. Most of these party buses, that's part of the attraction, isn't it? They can get legalists en route.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think the disgorging is the problem, isn't it?
The disgorging?
Where they dump them off at the end. Because
Yeah, it's like, you know,
I have a daughter who works in a bar, and it was a site where they would regularly let these people off, and they were pretty blitzed, and that caused a lot of trouble, you know, breaking windows and stuff. So I don't know, maybe we should dump them somewhere in Hagley Park or something, let them walk into town.
Fair enough.
Recover a bit.
Yeah. Very quickly, before we go to the break, there have been some developments on the Odeon front. It's been one of those long heritage sagas in Christchurch, and it wasn't that long ago that the City Council were looking at buying it from Hendo. Then I think V-Base had a bit of a sniff around. They both decided no. It was put up for mortgagee sale late last year, and the owner of the Bedford, Wendy Newland, is apparently in negotiations to buy the Odeon, and apparently she is going to vacate the Bedford site this year and turn the Odeon, if all comes to fruition, into a new entertainment venue. What do we think of this, Antony?
It needs to be commercial. If they can do that, that'll be fantastic. I don't have a problem with it turning into an entertainment venue.
As a player in this market as such, Marg, would you find the Odeon an attractive proposition?
Look, I went into the Odeon about 4 years ago, and oh my gosh, I mean, look, I love heritage buildings and that, but that's got a lot of work to be done. It was almost, geez, you know, obviously it's past its use by date. It's a massive project, and if she's got the passion and the desire to want to provide a wonderful entertainment, theatrical, you know, atmosphere for Canterbury, and she's paying for it, then good luck and good on her, and I'd go and support it if she really had that passion.
Mark Hadlow, of course, outlined this $60 million pipe dream for the Odeon and the whole entertainment complex built around it. I think the earthquake re-strengthening for the theatre in itself is $2.5 million. So is the council going to be called in here?
Well, this is you put your finger on it there when you talked about who's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Now, I know somebody that did up the one in New Plymouth, I think it was, or Palmerston North, sorry, I can't quite recall, but it was a few years ago, and she told me that it took the thick end of about 15 million, 15 million, to get it from the state the Odeon's in now to when it was open. Now, that is a heck of a lot of money. Having said that, our council was happy to throw 17 million into some empty sites owned by Dave Henderson. Maybe they would have been better off to perhaps look at this project.
We will watch this one with interest. Coming up, we'll have a look at Central City reports. There have been a lot of them in the last few years. More on that shortly. Do stay with us.